Well, thank you for being here. We're doing what we call Happy Hour, and it really is vocal profiling live. We ask for volunteers based on a special topic, and tonight that topic is going to be Parkinson's. We get a lot of Parkinson's clients here because we've been on so many radio shows about it. So we want to look at the many different things that come up as Parkinson's. Radiation poisoning.
You're going to go to that program tonight?
I'm going to mute whoever's talking. That was Karen talking. So I have muted her. Try to keep your microphones muted while we're on the air. So we look at Parkinson's influence, fibromyalgia, revoice. A lot of Parkinson's people lose their voice and their ability to swallow, maintenance and repair, inflammation, wheat allergies, dystonia, Lyme's. There are so many things going on. So we created a program called Parkinson's Common, and that's what we're going to be using tonight. We're going to be using two different programs, one called Nano Voice, and using that one, we're going to look at the many faces of Parkinson's, like red deals with the tongue muscle, and idiocobalamin that serves as the B12 for the muscle system, and the note of C sharp, which is red-orange, which is stearic acid, which feeds your muscles. So we're going to ask for a couple of volunteers and see what we can find. I'm Sharry Edwards. We're coming to you from the Institute of Bioacoustic Biology and Sound Health. There are videos about what we do, and if you'll go to our site to soundhealthoptions.com, secret stash, let me see if they've gotten that up. It should be up here on the secret stash right here. You can download that video, Miracles of Non-Medicine. And if there's things that you see this evening and that you would like copies of, like this Many Colors of Parkinson's, we can send that to you if you'd like. Guy said he was willing, Rose, so let's see. Let's just ask him to go first. So I'm going to open one of the programs. If I can manipulate this computer to do what it ought to do. And we'll be coming back to that. So remember that you can download the program that we're going to use now, and it's called Nano Voice. It is free. There's classes associated with it if you want to be there. So we're going to look at this Nano Voice that you can download, and we're going to ask Guy if he'll be a volunteer. He was actually here first, and I think I knocked him out because I was fiddling with the machine. So this is Nano Voice, and there's a 2-hour class associated with this. It's just waiting for you there online. And there are also some files and instructions that you want to look at while you're there. One of them is a note correlate chart. Boy, that looks really big. Now, what we have done with this note correlate chart is, here's all the notes, C, C sharp, D, and D sharp, and they're right here. And what the computer does is take all the frequencies of your voice and divide them up into these categories of notes so we can talk about them. So this chart is also waiting there for you to download. So we look at this, Looks complicated, but it really isn't. There's C, C sharp D, D sharp E, F, and it also has octaves. So we can look at middle C and octaves above and below middle C. And when we ask Guy to volunteer, he's going to speak to us until the 0 ends up being 500. So are you ready, Guy, to talk to us? I'll open your mic. Okay, you are unmuted.
Okay.
I'm going to hit OK here, and you talk until this 0 turns into 500. Okay?
I'll just read something if that's okay. The greatest responsibility in this world.
No, stop.
Okay.
No reading, no reciting, no
Okay.
counting. Just tell me what you did for the day. Because if you read, it just dampens your voice.
Well, I went up to Salt Lake to meet a friend up there and made my meeting okay and had a good rapport and came back home. Do you need some more voice?
Okay, I'm gonna stop this. We need to say 500. So the drive was great. I took route blah blah blah. I saw da da da. Okay, this is gonna start over now. Go. Talk to me.
Okay. Well, I went up to Salt Lake today. I had an appointment up there with a friend. And so I went up there and met with him and got some information, presentation that I needed to have and learn. And so we did that. And I went through the presentation and learned it and took notes on it and brought it back home. Then I went back over to Costco to pick up some things and to learn about a device over there I needed for my recharging my electrical devices in case of an emergency. So I did that and got that straightened away and talked to my friend Dick Oldham over there. And we talked about the possibility of what's going to happen with the our insurance businesses as it relates to the Obama stuff that's coming up. And that was quite an interesting discussion. I won't get into that, but we learned some things that are going to be forthcoming for us and that will affect our businesses and be a great opportunity for us one way or the other, regardless of what anybody thinks about the healthcare reform.
Okay,
So I did that.
We got it. That was good. That was great. Most of your information is in the notice C, and C is overloaded. It means that whatever is the notice C is not very useful in your body. When we look at this 500 hits distributed over 12 notes, you have 217 in the note of C. C indicates, whoops, went too far with that, is the note of C. It's the tongue muscle. Usually indicates there's some potassium unbalance. And idiocobalamin, which is a form of B12 that serves the muscles. So that's one piece going on here. 81 and the note of C sharp, that's double what you should have. C sharp steric acid supports nerve sheathing and regeneration. Double energy on the note of D. So mostly there is too much going on in your body, but it's not getting done. It's like you're running in place. The D is glycine, and when glycine is in stress, that's what causes the muscles to detoxify. It is associated with a mapping issue, and I put a map up here so we could go look at this really quick. Oh, it opened over here. So it's right in this area of dimethyl and trimethyl glycine that usually shows up as a issue. See in the blue box, that's a genetic issue. it usually ends up causing your muscles to be stiff and uncoordinated until you get up and get moving. So then you have empty here. Dopamine is a D sharp. That has a lot to do with Parkinson's. GABA is a G sharp. That's gone. GABA is the precursor for dopamine. I lost my map again. Well, is it just underneath? Oh, it's down here, maybe. Well, how did I lose that quick? I lost my whole map. So as we look at these numbers, we see you probably have an enzyme missing that deals with glutathione, which is also part of that dimethyl and trimethylglycine. Glutathione is the greatest detoxifier of the muscles. So we need to get you some glutathione enzymes, which could be glutathione as transferase or peroxidase. We need to get the trash out of your muscles and get those muscles working to support themselves and reestablish themselves with that. Was that a question? Because it went too fast and I couldn't understand it. Somebody opened their mic. Okay, I will go on. If you want a copy of this chart, anybody here that wants a copy, I will send it to you or post it on our website someplace so you can pull it down and look at it. But each one of these pieces of information shows us something else. So it's going to show us you have a lack of nerve support. Now you can do this all on your own, just using this little nano voice that's free. You will have to buy a microphone, and if I could afford it, I'd give everybody a microphone. Somebody has, Guy, you have your stuff open. I'm going to mute it temporarily. So you have the middle missing here. The main issue seems to be this note of C, the use of B12. Now, when B12 comes up as an issue for someone with Parkinson's, we want to go ahead and look at Castle's intrinsic factor and cysteine, commonly called NAC, acetylcysteine. That indicates that your Parkinson's may not be Parkinson's at all, but may be Lyme disease. When we begin to look at some of these symptoms, Lyme disease is certainly one of the things that we have found repeatedly that causes an issue. One of the Lyme disease spirochetes gives off a poison, really a protein, that is the same frequency as dopamine, and they compete. So the next step we're going to look at in using Guy's information, we're going to, well, I'll need to save this so we can come back to it. Now, one of the things about etiocobalamin is you can't buy it in the United States. It's owned by the Roche company, who patented it and just refuses to give it out. Could be some kind of issue with Big Pharma, maybe, because GMO foods create some of this problem with this lack of signaling. And there is an article on our site that we wrote about some Australian wheat. Study finds link between GMOs and current healthcare crisis. Mainly, we found that there is a problem with cell signaling. Glycine, for one, glutathione, and etiocobalamin, that inability to process the B12 that's needed because there's the poisons from GMOs. So I would suspect GMO poisoning, and I would expect some Lyme issues. Now, you can buy this in Canada. You cannot buy it in the United States. So we're going to keep this, and we're going to open a program named Audacity. Let's see how well we can correlate the Audacity information with that little teeny program that's totally free. We are going to be doing another Parkinson's. Actually, I think there is a Parkinson's program already done. I will ask the web guy if he will put the Parkinson's happy hour show that we did last time, or even this one, up on our website. We also did it in our Guardian class. We go into more depth with that, and we may be able to get up that 2-hour Guardian class just for a while, or just for the people who are here. So I've opened that Audacity, and would somebody put this in for me in the chat? Audacity.sourceforge.net, and that's where you can download this program for free. Right here you see seconds, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to hit the red button, and all of the information on how to do this is waiting for you on our site. It's waiting for you. People say that's waiting on the site, and you never show us where to find it. I've lost my mouse. Here it is. So if you go to Downloads and Radiation Software, and you can download this software anytime you want, but this Bioacoustic Basics textbook, you can download it, and it'll give you all the instructions that we're going to go over right now. I think this is already on the BioDiet software that's waiting for you also. It's free, and you can just download it. No, the booklet isn't there yet, but we'll get it there. I just haven't got all that up yet. BioDiet. I'm going to write myself a note. BioDiet software info. Okay. So I'm going to open Guy's mic, and he's going to give me 30 seconds. He's going to watch here. He's going to give me 30 seconds of his day and tell me, Guy, of some of your symptoms. Okay, you ready? I'm opening. You're unmuted. So 30 seconds. You ready?
Go.
Yeah, but you got a little bit of feedback there. I'll shut up. So go.
Okay, well, one thing that I was able to do was to meet with Eddie Trenzano in Salt Lake, and I also thought to talk about my naturopath that I'm meeting here this next week, who has confirmed some of these things that you're talking about, the stearic acid, especially the glutathione, which I've been taking injections of to get high levels of it, because the lady said that I needed to detox. And one thing that I've also done to detox is to work with the ion cleanse, foot baths.
Okay, you've got something missing about that glutathione if you're taking it, because it's not being properly utilized, I think. But let's go on and look at it. This does not look like voice to me, so I'm going to check it out. Now it's just a little squeaky thing there, so I'm get rid of that. Let's see these couple little things. Play them. Click it out. So I'm just clicking out of there things that I don't think is voice. Oh, that was voice. Okay. That was some kind of squeak. So if the cat comes in and meows, and you can go through and pick out these things that are probably not voice. You can edit this. You can listen to it by clicking the green. This is too high, too loud. I had the mic too close, so I'm going to click that out. And we probably have 30 seconds left because I let it go over a little bit. Yes, we do. So we're just going to save that. Export it to save it. And it needs to be Guy online. Somebody's just going to think that's some guy, not really you. So I'm going to put your
Guy Wayne.
Guy Wayne, okay? Online. Okay, got it. So we're going to save it up here in our waves file. It needs to be at 32,000 hertz, 16-bit mono. And if that's not what it says when you start, you go to Edit. There's the mouse. Okay, you go to Edit, Preferences, Quality, and set it up for 32,000 16-bit mono. Now, all of those instructions are in that Bioacoustic Basics book that I just showed you. The next thing is to open your Abacus program. This program is waiting for you on line 2 under that radiation. Can you tell I have a new mouse? I can't drive it very well. So we're going to take your voice where you're saying, well, you went up here to do that and was able to do this, and we're going to import it, but the computer is going to change it somewhat. Now I have to find where I put this file. Desktop, waves. How to set up your computer is also in that book. So Guy Wayne Online. What this is going to do is change all the words that you said and organize it from 0 to 1,000 cycles per second. The gray coherence grid is normal. Now, when somebody has this normal of long term, I can say, we got a good chance of changing things. Where most of his issues are is in the now range. So we're going to look where this gray is empty, and that's where we need to work. So we're going to ask the computer to pull the points. And it needs, I think it needs 6 lows and 6 highs. I don't know if it'll let us do this, but we may have to come back and grab another low. But we want to look at anything that's greatly above this coherence. Now yours isn't, but you've got a lot of little things going on at once. So this is the list of frequencies. 143, 727. Now there's a 118. Where's that? Yeah, there. So the computer goes through and picks these points and lays them down on this grid. Now I would choose this point because it's very open. I don't like it that the computer didn't pick that point. So I'm going to go over here where it's almost down to the grid, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to erase that one. And I'm going back over and pick that one that is very active. The more active it is, the more open it is. So I'm probably happy with the rest of, I want to pick this one. So let's get rid of that and roll over this one. Now note that we have no directionality here, whether it is high above the chart or low below the chart. Now, low simply means that you don't have enough of it. High means that there's too much of it. Either you're taking too much or you don't have the sister component that's needed. This program will show us both. So I'm going to put in Guy, Wayne, and online. And for this part, we don't need your date of birth, but we have to put something in there. So I'm going to tell the computer that we don't have your birthday. That's its indicator, male and Parkinson's. So we're going to save this list of 24 frequencies, 12 in each slot here. I'm going to hit this little Rubik's Cube. Again, all of these directions are in that book. And I don't want to put it back in waves. I want to put it in a GNS file. GNS is the type of program that we're going to go to and look at what all of those frequencies represent. Allergies. I have Parkinson's open, or did over here. Here it is. And this is the Parkinson's Commons. It is 15 programs in one. So I open client, and you're in the GNS file. We just double click, and there is your demographics, and there is that list of frequencies. And the very first thing I'm going to do is uncheck everything and only look at your muscles. We have found out by checking the abdominal muscles that you have in stress, it gives us a great deal of information. So let's look at just the muscles first. Well, usually abdominal muscles, but these are speaking muscles. Has your speaking become less clear at all?
I've asked people about that, and they've said no, but I feel like that it has, and it has become slower. I'm usually a fast talker, and I have to talk a little more slowly. This is from my perspective, in order to feel like I have the best pronunciation.
Okay, one of the frequencies that's associated with these muscles, or I should say that in a different way. Almost everything is something else. Like you can't open a jar, then it can be the thumb muscle is weak, and when the thumb muscle is weak, usually zinc is low. We give you zinc as a supplement, and it will increase the strength in that muscle. The same thing with these muscles. The tongue muscle here is associated with glucose and getting your glucose into the muscles to feed them. Also tyrosine, which helps with metabolism, and cortisol, an anti-inflammatory. So I would suspect, okay, one, you have inflammation someplace. You're more fatigued and it's harder for you to get up in the morning, and you have some trouble with glucose. Okay, let me look at the next muscle. I haven't been able to memorize all these yet. So, okay, the throat muscle there is associated with pantotene, which is a precursor for B5. And if that's not taken care of, tremors will be one of the steps. And the B5 is also the same frequency as a GABA receptor, which is the precursor for dopamine. Now, one of the problems with this is that you can't go to your local health food store or doctor and buy a GABA receptor. You can only get it with frequency, as far as I know. So a lot of the times we can refer you to a nutrient like complete B5, pantothenic acid, would have this pantotene in it. The other association is sulfur, that your body is not using its sulfur in a good way. And you can try bioavailable sulfur. You can try MSM. That's a little more difficult to get you used to. But those are the main issues that I see. Now, one of the things we can do is go in here and say, we're going to make this into a PDF file and print it. And I'm going to ask it to put it into a file as soon as it pops up somewhere. It didn't come up anywhere here. Well, what can happen with this is we will print it and put it in a file and send it to you. Is any of this accurate so far?
Yes.
Do you find that hard to believe that it just came out of your voice?
Yes, very definitely.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome. We need to find a practitioner near you. Now, I'm going to go back into some of the others. Let's see if it's radiation associated. Try that. There are a lot of radiation association. Incredible amount. Associated with PET scans, diagnosing. So you've had several either MRIs or radiation or something that you probably took some hospital tests to look at this, and it's left some residual accumulation. Can you see that?
Well, I don't see it there specifically, but my naturopath mentioned that I must have been subject to a lot of radiation. Now we live in Utah, and as you know, that's where the testing grounds were for the atomic bombs.
Well,
And a lot of people in some counties in the southern part of the state have very high incidences of cancer because of the extreme radiation, which is still there, like down by the Four Corners, New Mexico, Utah, and Colorado.
Yeah, we need to get rid of this. We can look on your chart and see which one is the worst and start there. But Utah, I don't know if we have any practitioners in Utah. We don't, May? May says we don't have any practitioners in Utah. So we're going to have to find another way to help you do this. We can go look at any of these. Herbs, medications. The most important ones are the radiation. Vitamins, of course. The note correlate chart, we'll see what note we need to concentrate on. Pathogens, we wanted to look at limes. Let's look at genomes, fatty acids, enzymes. Let's look at some of the rest of these.
I lost you. There you are. I had to boot up my computer again. Sorry.
Okay. Sherry, can you show us the colors, the now, etc.? Okay, Paula is saying that she needs to look at your chart in a slightly different way. So I'm going to open that. She wants to look at the waves. And there's a way to look at where the problem is. Now, anything that's in this coherence grid, this darker gray grid, that's usually okay. So Paula says, show us the grids. The red hasn't happened yet. It's coming. So more fatigue is coming. The green is what's happening now. You're not methylating. You're not using your resources. And then the blue is long-term, and you're looking good there. Okay.
What's that mean, methylating?
If you eat a raisin, there's iron in a raisin, but it's iron that the raisin needs. So when you eat the raisin, your body has to change it to human useful iron. And so that's the change, the cell salts. That's just an example. But see all this rough stuff? And it's coming up into layer 2. These are things that you aren't using very well. Let's look in the chart, and I'll show you what I mean. Let's look at amino acids. and you have a few amino acids here. Whoops, went too far. Carnitine is too high. Now you need fatty acids. Well, it's all carnitine. You need fatty acids to use carnitine. But let's go look at a chart. And again, this chart is waiting on you. Oh, it ended up over here. This chart is waiting for you on the website called a nutrient assimilation. So we want to look at carnitine. Yours is too high, and unless you're taking it and you're overdosing yourself, then one of these helper nutrients are in stress. Vitamin A and C, sufficient amounts of iron, B1, thiamine, B6, lysine, and methionine are needed to create and use the carnitine. So we'll keep a lookout for these other things as we go along. So let's look at the vitamins, because it was vitamin C, iron, so minerals. So let's look at those two. This is all designed so that you can do it. Didn't want that one. What did I do wrong there? So that this is designed so you can take care of yourself, or you can take it to your wellness provider and they'll help. Cadmium is low, cadmium is high. Likely that's a muscle, because it just isn't high and low at the same time. It could be a muscle on one arm is low and the same muscle on the other arm is high. So I would go look at the muscle that's associated with that. Selenium, you get that from Brazil nuts. It helps the thyroid. And did you notice that you had the iodine, is it 121 or 131? So that will help the thyroid. Silicon is both high and low. I would look at that for a muscle, but also for connective tissue. This helps make your connective tissue more pliable. And sodium, too high, so it needs to be balanced with other minerals. You know, most of the time when they say, your sodium's too high, go off all sodium foods. That's one of the worst things you can do. You need to go back to your chart to see what sodium needs to make it useful.
If I have a muscle cramp, I can take potassium chloride. It's called salt substitute, but the potassium will alleviate it immediately.
Well, there you go. It's not that your sodium is too high. Your sodium is unusable because it doesn't have its sister component. B6, which is a sister component for idiocobalamin, which is a form of B12 for the muscles. But this shows you how to put all these pieces together so you can begin to see what your own chart is trying to tell you.
Looks like I'm going to need half the stuff in the health store.
Well, we'll go see how high is high and how low is low and see where to start. Now, choline comes from eggs and what else?
We eat a lot of eggs.
Well, it's too high, but choline is water soluble, so it's not likely that it's high. It's likely that, again, you don't have its sister parts to make it useful. So we
Well, a naturopath said that I'm dehydrated. Although I drink a lot of water, it's not getting into the cells and getting utilized. So she gave me some kind of a water product that makes it more able to transmit to.
Yeah, it makes it more permeable. Yeah, and the note of C deals with the use of water in the body too, and that was your highest note. But here's B complex, B12, folic acid, and inositol, lecithin. That's the word I was trying to think of. That
okay.
A lot of choline, and it improves the nerve transmission. It also improves cell permeability, helps control osmosis and edema and that kind of thing in the body. So choline should be taken with choline and inositol. That's its best transporter. So you can see how sending you these reports, you can look at them, spread them apart, find out what works with what. But when we look at genes, I want to look at genes and enzymes, and I expected some Lyme issues, but I didn't see them go by.
She said that my naturopath that I'm going to said that I may have Lyme's disease, and the only way she can do what she can do to diagnose that is to detox my body. So I take these foot baths or ion cleanse, and they apparently pull a lot of junk out of my body.
Well, the
And
other
then
thing,
she gave me these high levels of glutathione to try to get me detoxified first before she could.
yeah, the other thing that happens with Lyme's is the cysteine, which is made in the stomach lining, becomes destroyed, and it needs B12. So have her add NAC, or ask her about adding NAC to your nutrients. And this is based on just, no, probably less than 30 cases that we've had of Lyme's where there is gastrointestinal upset at the same time. So these are your genes. ATP, now choline also helps use ATP and ADP. ADP is for your energy cycle, and ATP, adenosine triphosphate, is for replenishing your body in the format how it started. It keeps your DNA. You know, we'd want to help you get rid of this high myostatin that makes the muscles weak. We'd want to stimulate the use of these nerve growth factors. Spectrin helps rebuild the body's connective tissue and bones. We certainly want to look at this gene that's going to keep you from using acetylcholine, because that's directly related to cell communication. So the genes show an important piece to this. And I bet if we would take a clean methylation map, we could see where all of this started. Let me see if I can find one. Okay, here's a clean methylation map. Every piece of this leads us to something else. So I'm going to go to mapping. Because this is one of the most important programs we have. It tells us where things started to be a problem. So as we begin to look, and it's easy to open another program here and just drop you in, and as we begin to look at your reports, and there's several of them popped up over here. I don't think we looked at this one before. We're looking for anything 4 or more. And 4, you're not using your incoming resources, which we kind of already knew. BHMT, that's the biggie that we talked about just a minute ago. So as we begin to look at this map, BHMT is where that glycine glutathione all comes into play to feed the muscles and detoxify the muscles so that you don't have the stiffness, you have better circulation in those muscles, and you're not going to experience stiff man syndrome, which we should go up here and just insert a little circle. Let's make it red. I don't know what it's going to make it, but that BHMT is a biggie there. Okay, no center, and let's make it red. No center, no fill, red. Okay, let's make another one of those and just keep it over here. Well, that's not what I wanted to. I wanted to grab that and make more of them down here so we could use them. I don't know why that's doing that. Guess I'll have to make a little circle each time because that's operator error. So the next thing we look at here, B6 and uracil. Now, uracil is one of the things that's associated with tyrosine, and you have that in stress with the muscles. Uracil helps keep the RNA. Now, uracil isn't on this map. See if we could do control copy and then put it over here. Control copy. There, it made it for us. So we know that we're having a trouble with B6. But in case you want a more complete map that has a uracil on it, and you're a glutton for punishment, there's many different maps on here for you to look at and follow through. I try to keep a very simple map up for people because this one scares me. So the next thing we'll look at on our reports, and we just ran all the reports here. MTHFR. Now, this is a double-edged sword right here. MTHFR. This tells us that you don't have the enzymes for methionine. And in that case, you're not going to use glutathione or the trimethyl or dimethylglycine. The other issue that you have is nitric oxide synthase. So there is a lack of cellular oxygenation. Could be from trash, could be that you just don't have that form of B12 that belongs in the muscles. This also causes some other problems with being able to oxygenate the body. It deals with detox, it deals with sexual function. There's a lot going on with that. So let's look at the next one. Curcumin, that's a blood thinner, and it's high. That doesn't help much with what we're looking at. Just an herb, a suggested herb to take. There's the protein for, you have the enzyme, you have the protein. You have two hits now on nitric oxide synthase. And Guy, you can buy nitric oxide synthase on the market. It comes as a form of catalase and for your heart. It helps feed the heart. It helps feed the hormones. It helps feed your brain. So that's a very important one in your case because it's in here twice and it's in a blue box, which means that it is genetic. Two more maps here. Well, where'd it go? Oh, the genomes now. Not only the proteins, but the genomes. I thought we already had this one. Are they just duplicated? This one is a genome. Maybe I just didn't kill it before. Yeah, I just didn't kill it. So we begin to look at this map. Number one is how the body detoxifies. Your problem is nitric oxide synthase delivery and activation, and it's from a genetic perspective. That's causing, well, I don't see any direct issues with your energy, except you did have the tyrosine was one of the issues on your other map. But number three is how the body repletes its DNA. So that's the next step. And then that tells us you've got the problem with the dimethylglycine and the B6. All of those important for feeding, reestablishing, and detoxifying the muscles. Is that awesome or what?
Well, it's awesome. It's also overwhelming. I feel like I'm in a galaxy with an old automobile.
Guy Wayne online. Well, our practitioners are trained to help you with this. And some of the things that we would do, let me put this in my client file. One of the things that we would do with this would be to go back to look at your chart, and the highest highs that correlated with the information we found, we would start there. And that is all about frequency. This is what people learn in class. And we look at all the directionality of all the twos. And so it tells us that 2282 is your worst issue. It also tells me you have lower back pain from the midpoint over to the side of your hip.
That's true.
Well, your chart said so right there. And it's active. I can tell by this number that it's active. But we start looking at these numbers and we can see where we need to start. Like here's some kidney stress, but it's not severe. So there's ubiquitin, it's not severe. So this tells us, you know, of all those 30 things I told you, where should we start? And this is what people learn in our class.
Yes.
You can learn to do this. There are videos on YouTube about Parkinson's that are all free in learning how to use these programs. So your next step then is for us to send you everything that we found out, and we will also send you something that's called a pastel folder. Find that. The pastel folder contains all the information to show you how to interpret everything I just said. Instructions for interpretation, that green nutrient assimilation chart, evaluating your report. It's all here, step by step. And there's even one here that says, read me first. Although I don't see it right here. That's the one, I think it's in this one, vocal interpretation. Let's see if we can go there. Read me first. And it tells you how to read all those reports. We want to support a bioacoustic community like this in every community on the planet because we really think Obamacare is, I don't know how to say it. It's dangerous. They don't know what they're doing. People are going to fall through the cracks. People are going to die. Things are going to be rationed. It's already started. I don't like these death panels. I don't like the rise in costs of insurance. I don't like rationing. So I think if we're here to sort of pick up the pieces, when this stuff goes into effect, then there's going to be a lot less people in trouble.
Oh, yes. Well, I feel like, if I may say something here, so overwhelmed that I can't assimilate all of this and put it together into a plan that would be effective, both effective and affordable, without a wellness coordinator.
You're talking about what I just told you here or Obamacare?
Oh, I understand Obamacare, what you're saying, and you're right on target. You're right on. But I'm saying here, what do I can understand the starting point that would be applicable in your perspective, but in my perspective, all of this is new to me, although I'm not in a disagreement over it. I need a wellness coordinator that says, reviews with me, these are your starting points with these nutrients, and then I buy a few of them and start repairing and trying to return to wellness according to some plan that I can comprehend. Like I said, I feel like I'm in a galaxy with a 1938 Dodge.
Okay, I'm going to give you 5 things to think about. Your carnitine is low. Look at your component parts that you need to use it. or buy a complete carnitine. You need
I saw that one.
carnitine, and I'm going to send you that list.
Okay, good.
You need some complete B12 and some cofactors, complete B, I should say, and food-based. And you have a company there in Utah called Nature Sunshine that does whole food-based nutrients. There's a couple online. One's nutrients, and one is, we'll try to look those up and send them to you with your charts.
Well, I buy some things from Nature Sunshine. They're just down the road.
Well, just tell them that you need some complete B12 or a B, and you need to have B5 and its cofactors in there. You need some glutathione enzymes, NAC, NAC. You can probably get that from Nature Sunshine also. And tell them you got it from our information, because they have closed us off and just won't let us. Well, we went to talk to them, and they weren't receptive. Let's just put it that way.
Well, one moment. The glutathione, they give me pushes of glutathione because they said in pill form it's digested in the stomach before it has an effect to have an effect.
Well, that's where you have to bring in the NAC, but they may be giving you the glutathione, but they aren't giving you the correct enzyme to use it.
What is NAC?
Acetylcysteine, Cysteine. I'll show you your problem with the glutathione. Hold on a second so I bring that back.
And I have a liquid form that I put under my tongue.
You see this genetic issue right here?
Mm-hmm.
No matter how much glutathione they give you, you're going to have a problem utilizing it because it's genetic. This BHMT, it's genetic. They can't get you to use it because you've got a genetic kink. Now, where can you find this? Let me see if I can bring it up for you. If we go, what?
I'm taking notes, and so I need to interject a little bit here. The NAC is acetylcysteine. What's the N stand for?
Just N. It means it's a form that's bioavailable. You know, you can get a copy of what we're doing here tonight.
Okay, wonderful.
Comprehensive health care page. This map that we're looking at, and we're looking at this BHMT that you have an issue with, an MTHFR, genetic stumbling blocks. MTHFR, this is what its issue is. It looks like it's a form of folate that your body genetically isn't producing. And this is a form of bentane, which is another word for trimethylglycine, and those two things are genetic. You've got arthritis in your family someplace because of all of this, these two. So they can give you those shots forever, but we need to find you a bioacoustic practitioner that can kick this gene stuff in the nose.
Well, I'm ready. I've got my pencil in my hand.
We just don't have anybody in Utah. Sometimes we can get people to travel to you, or you can travel to us in Ohio. It probably would be cheaper if you would just find somebody in Utah who's willing to take the course. And then you can have a center right there. But from looking at your muscles, we know that your body is not replenishing the muscles that break down, and it's not detoxifying the trash that's in your muscle, and it is genetic. Probably based on nitric oxide synthase. That's another thing that you can buy at your health food store. Nitric oxide synthase. It is the enzyme that helps break down nitric oxide. It makes your bonding hormones. And this is why a lot of the times people with Parkinson's have a low affect, like nothing really matters to them. And that's one big clue that nitric oxide synthase is the culprit. And you can buy it right in a can off the internet. And it's a powder, and it gives this back to your body in a form that your body can accept and understand. And you start with this map over here. So the very first thing we want to start with is that nitric oxide synthase. If you do nothing else, go there. And I have some of this at home. I will, if you will send me your nitric oxide synthase, synthase. If you will send me your email address on chat or some way, and I'll just put my email address in here so you can send me yours. It's just Sharry.
What do I select there? Ask to annotate or
I'm
view?
sorry, what?
I don't know. I can't bring up the chat box.
Okay, do you see a little green tab at the top or bottom of your screen?
Yeah, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, chat's up there. So I put my address up there for you. A lot of good information there in that chat. And for those of you who want to keep the chat, click on it, do Control-A to grab all of it, and then Control-C to copy it, and then you've got the whole chat for the evening. There are several of you who want to do Parkinson's and learn more about it and muscles. So send me your requests. What would you like to see next week? Something different. If you want to go on with Parkinson's, we'll do that. If you want to go on with muscle maintenance, which is one of the things Guy needs, we can go on with that. So let me know what you want to see. We do these programs for you to help you learn to use the programs and to experience this when you're not quite sure what's going on. There's a lot of good practitioners on with you, Guy. So take advantage of their knowledge. Any of you here, Guy, in Utah? I see people from Florida and Australia and Canada and all over. But we recorded this, Guy, and since it's about you, you write to me and give me an address that we can send it. It takes a couple of days for us to download it and convert it to an MP4 that you can watch on your computer. But you'll be able to watch this again and again. Take it to your naturopath so she can see what we found, and then she can go from there.
So how do I get a copy of it?
Right? Send me your address.
I just did that, I thought.
Sharry Edwards at gmail.com. Oh, I
Well, that's yours?
Sharry, Sharry, Edwards at gmail.com. Okay, I have yours now, and I will open my email, and I will send you what we just did. Now, it'll take a little bit longer to download that MP4, but I want to make myself a note that we need to send all of you the GMO program, and we need to send you the chart about the colors of Parkinson's. Now, any of you don't want these, just delete them because it's too hard of trying to separate out. Dan, heel spurs is usually a muscle in your hip, and we are only here an hour. That may be something that we can do next week. Kathy, good to hear from you. And I know you have time for us. I know you have a busy, busy life. So it's nice to see you here. So we will send the GMO articles and the color chart for all of you. And Dan, let me know if you want to volunteer for next week. We'll see what we can do with it. And GMO March, and Anne wants to make an announcement to everyone about the GMO March taking place in the UK. Do you want to talk about it for a minute, Anne? Or Paula, do you want to talk about your march and what happened? Paula, I'll open you first. Paula, you're being unmuted. What about your... Did you have a march there?
We had 2,000 people. Yes, we did. I was amazed how many people were there. I didn't realize it was that big. But we had no news coverage, no newspapers. That was the disappointing part. But, yeah, we had our banners and our bags. I carry around my bag, GMO, how does it go? Oh my God, it's got the letters OMG, GMO, WTF. I love it. I use it, carry it everywhere. And anyway, yeah, it was good. We felt empowered to be able to yell at people, you know, get out GMO, no, no, no to Monsanto. Felt really good.
It's great. A lot of countries are outlawing them because of how it's distorting
I wish they would.
Our genetics. That we had a guy on this Sunday's Blog Talk Radio that talked about the poisons that GMOs are creating in our genetic system. Andrea, let the office know tomorrow that you want the Parkinson's program rather than one of the programs that was offered for this class. So substitute one of your programs and you can get the PD program. Andrea's just saying she's going to be in our class in June, which is wonderful. There were 27 people applied. We can't accommodate that many, so we may break it up and have 2 classes. That would be wonderful. I just thought of that on the spur of the moment. That's awesome. Okay, Anne, I'm going to open your mic and close off Paula's. So, Anne, you can talk to us about your upcoming march. You're open.
No, it was all on the same day. It was worldwide.
Oh, okay, so it's already over.
Yeah, it's already over, unfortunately. But the same here, not one iota in the media. And nobody really knew where it was going on. That was half of the problem. So they didn't get as many people because just absolutely nobody really knew how to find anything,
Well,
even on the web.
You know, setting up trees on your Facebook and your phone is a good way to do it. So if anybody knows how to do that easily and quickly, send us the directions or we'll share it on our next happy hour. So you'll have to remind me, Dan, of what's going on. Get in touch with May at our office, and I'll put the phone number to the office, 740-698-9119, so you can get in touch with May, and she can help you set up appointments. Any of you who want private appointments and not have your life smeared all over happy hour can get in touch with May, and we will do private sessions with you online like this and try to find a way to help you. Okay, thank you for being here.
What was the number again, Sherry?
740-698-9119. And these sessions we take down and we put them on our happy hour. So you'll be able to see them. So if we're looking here and go back up to happy hour, then you can look down through here, and here are some of the recent episodes. So yours will be up shortly, and we can also send you a copy. Oh, Phil, that is so sweet. My idea of being rich is to share and give away anything I want. So, Sharry. Maybe I should spell my name that. There's a Sharer and a Sharry. Wow. Thank you, Anne. Aren't you going to be taking our class too in June?
Yes, yes.
All right.
I'm just trying to find, you know, like somebody that will allow me to get the stuff at a college.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, we are going to be announcing, Judy, somebody sent me a little machine that's going to be available to people that you can take to the grocery and determine which manufacturers you don't want to buy from. So we'll be discussing that on our next Sunday class.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a thing, oh, I can't remember his name now, but you can put it into vegetables and it will tell you if it's got a life force. Is that what you mean?
Well, it's something called Bioacoustics, BIOCOTT.com, and it'll help you look up everything. But this other one will allow you to measure the vegetables. The problem is you have to actually assault the vegetables, and people don't want to be doing that.
Oh, I don't mind sticking a pin in them.
Thank you, Marcy. This is great. We are still looking for people who want to open bioacoustic centers in their community. And if you think you can afford it, go use these free downloads. Radiation and biodiet. We're leaving radiation up because it's just too important not to. And then the biodiet's going to be up for a month. It'll be up until about the end of June, and we'll probably put up the Parkinsons. Now, when you download these, you only get them for 10 days. If you want them forever, you have to join the Guardian. And I don't even, here, this is our Guardian program. We meet once a month and share a class and the software, and you get to keep the software forever as long as you are contributing, which means that you are updating your information, you're attending free classes, you are sending us interesting cases, because if you don't send us cases that we can share with everybody else, then you're kind of useless to us. You may be wonderful and helpful in your own community, but we need to share that information with everybody. So we're trying to set up this network where we can do lots and lots of things and lots of ideas. Here's one. There's a guy that wants to put a kiosk in a subway that people can walk up and say blah, 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 da, 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 and that all that information will be sent back to us so we can tell what poisons might be in that subway, and eventually he wants to put out the antidotes in the subway should anybody or any place be poisoned. I think that is an incredible idea, and I'm totally in support of it. Monsanto's stock went down. All right. It was down 115 points today. Is it all Monsanto? You know, I'm just tired of the government being our parental entity of telling us what's good for us rather than meeting us on an adult-to-adult level. I guess that's part of my hidden agenda. Thanks for being here. We'll be back next week. This is becoming a very popular class. Let us know what you want to see. Please report the subway story again. They want to create a kiosk, and this is in, I can't remember where it was, San Diego, I think, but I can't remember. They want a stand with a computer where people can go up and talk into it and tell if there's a common poison in that subway, or it could be done in a building. Our intent was security. You know, what are we going to do with the security in a subway? Somebody just walk away with the computer. Boy, that'd take a lot of money to get controlling interest of Monsanto. Bill Gates owns most of it. Good people. Wonderful show. Talk to you later.